Hey all, welcome to ShareTrek. This is Raj here. Friends, this is a very different kind of video, and if you don't cook, you may probably not relate much to this video, but you can still get enough knowledge so that you can tell whoever cooks for you to do these things so that you have a healthier life. I'll just give you a brief background about myself and why this video is important for me and why I made this video. So friends, I have a predisposition for type 2 diabetes because I've seen it in the family. So I retired early at 50. I stopped working and I focused more on work-life balance. Before COVID, I was going to the gym every day and working out for an hour and a half, and I was in very, very good condition. But after COVID, I have not been able to get back to the gym. Even now, I don't feel like going to the gym because there is something or the other out there. So my exercise now is an hour and a half of walking every day in the evening. And one of the other ways I'm trying to control my weight is through responsible eating. And my staple is rice. So every day I eat rice. I can't live without rice. So rice is important for me. I eat basmati rice, which is a long grain rice, and it has got lower glycemic index. So that's the reason why I do that. But what I'm going to talk today to you is going to be about what is in rice and why it's a problem and how you can remove those problems and enjoy guilt-free portion of rice. So friends, the most important thing to know is that there are two components of rice which are not good for us. The first one is arsenic. Arsenic is a poison that can build up in your body. So if you're going to be eating rice every day for your lifetime, you want to be sure that you don't consume too much of arsenic. So how do you separate arsenic from rice? So that's question number one. The second problem with rice is it's got a lot of starch and carbs, as a result of which it has a high glycemic index. High glycemic index means as soon as you eat it, you'll have a spike in your blood sugar and then there will be a crash. So that's not a good thing. And those kind of spikes in glycemic index and then crashes are the ones that lead to type 2 diabetes. And for type 2 diabetes people, that's the one that causes more problem. So you want to maintain a uniform blood sugar level, and you have to eat a lot of proteins in order to achieve that. But if rice is your staple, this is what you do. So there's a science behind this whole thing, and I'll explain the science as well. I'm going to tell you how I cook my rice so that I can enjoy it and at the same time avoid the arsenic as well as the high glycemic index. So first of all, there are two types of rice. One is the long grain rice and the other is short grain rice. So always select long grain rice because long grain has a lower glycemic index right from the get-go. Shorter grain rices have a lot of starch and therefore they have higher glycemic index. So that's point number one. The next thing is that how do you cook rice? So the way you cook the rice and what you do after the rice is cooked, all of those things make a lot of difference in both the arsenic as well as starch count. So first let me tell you the best way to cook rice. Please do not cook rice in a cooker. Please do not cook rice in a rice cooker. So whether it's a pressure cooker or a rice cooker, what happens is that you're cooking in limited amount of water, and of course your rice is cooked, but you do not give the starch and the arsenic an opportunity to escape. So the way I cook rice is in an open pot. I have a big pot in which I'll have a little bit of rice and a whole lot of water. There is no ratio. I don't follow any ratio of rice to water. It doesn't matter at all. And if you want to make the rice a little bit more flavorful, you could smash a little bit of cardamom and put cardamom into it. You could put star anise, a couple of star anise into it, and maybe a clove or two. That will impart a lot of flavor to the rice so that by itself the rice will have flavor. But if you don't care about all those things, you just need to have a little bit of rice and a whole lot of water and put it to boil. And as the rice starts boiling, what happens is the starch starts to loosen up and it starts absorbing water. And as it absorbs water, the rice grains swell. And when they are completely swollen, they are fully cooked. And the reason why we cook the rice is because, first of all, we want the starch to loosen up so that it can act like a sponge. So when you put lentils or curries into the rice, the starch in the rice starts absorbing those flavors, and the flavor and texture of the rice improves, and there's a lot of enjoyment in eating that. So that's what happens when rice is cooking. But another thing that is happening in parallel is that the rice is releasing arsenic into the water. So a lot of arsenic that was in the rice comes into the water. And that's the reason why when you have a whole lot of water, way more than the rice, what happens is that there is plenty of water, and the arsenic has got more water in which it can go than rice. So more of the arsenic gets into the water and less remains in the rice. So this is how I cook the rice. And then you have to dispense off the water and separate the cooked rice from there. So there also there's a technique. So you take a sieve and then put the rice from the cooked rice and the water into the sieve. And while you're doing that, try to do it in such a manner that in the first pass you're taking out all the hot water, and then again put cold water into rice and rinse the cooked rice, and then take out all the water. And if you do this kind of a process where you rinse the cooked rice a couple of times and then take out the water from there, the cold water will also take away extra arsenic and extra starch from the rice, and then you have really separated rice grains which are well cooked and absolutely a pleasure to eat, and they have very low arsenic levels, and there is a lower glycemic index because a lot of starch has been washed out. The other thing that I do is I let it cool down. I let the rice cool down and I put it in the fridge, and I like to eat cold rice with hot lentils and hot vegetables. And there's a reason behind that, because when you cool the rice in the fridge, what happens is the starch becomes a complex starch because of the lower temperature. If you reheat the rice, it will not regain its entire glycemic index, but it will regain a little bit of the glycemic index because the starch is loosened up. But if you take it out cold from the fridge and put hot lentils and hot curries and mix it up and eat, you'll find that your food is not that hot, but it's just about warm. But the starch that you consume in the rice is going to be low glycemic index, and therefore your blood sugars will not spike up. So this is how I cook the rice, and I thought it was opportune for me to make this video at this point of time, because in our channel I've already covered type 1 and type 2 diabetes before. I had made a separate video on it. And then recently I covered VCTX 210, 211 and 212 from CRISPR Therapeutics, where I spoke about type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. And I thought that I should share what I am practicing out here to make sure that I can avoid type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is a lifestyle related issue to the most extent. So if you don't eat fatty foods, if you don't eat sugary foods and starchy foods, and if you do enough exercise and if you have enough fibers in your food, you can easily avoid type 2 diabetes. And I have been doing that. And soon I'm going to be 60, and touch wood, so far I haven't had diabetes. So I'm hoping to keep it away, and this is what I'm doing. And friends, if you liked this idea, if you're cooking rice yourself, try it out and give me your feedback in the comments. And if you don't cook and someone else cooks for you, like your mom or your wife or somebody, or a cook, ask them to follow this method, and then let me know how your rice tasted and how you felt afterwards. Did you feel the difference in the glycemic index? With that, I would like to end this video, and I'll catch up with you again in the next video. Bye for now.